All right, so finished my work day. Actually loaded up the dogs and heading up about an hour, 15 minutes north. Going to go to where I was the other day. It's the mountains up the Grapevine. It's called Fraser Park. There's some hiking trails there. Even though I have to work tomorrow, I just figured instead of sitting around, it's kind of raining down here, so I'm hoping maybe there's different weather up there. Do something with the dogs. You know, they're valuable to me, so if I have any free time, it's more or less devoted to them or something for our life together. That's about it. And that's what I expect of my clients. You know, I know they have other extraneous things, and I hear that, but it is the dogs. Not that they don't care, they don't understand. They're like, well, why is, it always comes down to, if you're having a behavior issue, your dog is not feeling you're having the proper relationship and communication style for their needs to not feel that everyday life that you provide for them is safe, sound, secure, or at least in certain elements of it. So you get anxieties, reactions, their impulses are more important than listening to you because they feel so independent-minded and not by choice. They're just put in that circumstance. If they're dogs that are more vigilant, nothing has been done about it. But there is a very specific way you have to interpret it, and not how, unfortunately, a lot of the positive reinforcement type trainers do. Anyway, not to get off topic here, but I'm not trying to show anything more than this is just how I live with my dogs. I am constantly doing something with them when we're in the home. If there's any needs of training or something that would require it soon, I'm on it, despite what I have going on. I multitask, or I just take time for them first, whatever it is. That is even just their exercise and all the other stuff that I do. And a lot of it is not just indulging and loving them all the time. It's communicating with them and doing activities, engaging them. I could touch them and pet them and all that, but I'd rather let them do something with me, and then they get the touch, pet, and attention. They'll be happier because they're earning it. They're doing something for it. It's not just for free. And for some dogs, you're rewarding the wrong thing. And that gets me frustrated. I had a client I just saw. I clearly showed this person had, I think they told me 2 years they worked with positive reinforcement trainer or trainers. Had the no pull harness, the treats, all that. Couldn't handle every dog that came by in our first intake. They had a void. We're getting nervous, and like, you're in front of your own house. That's really, your trainer hasn't given you the ability to address this properly, and it's basically they react and then they get the treats when they're calm, and you're just perpetuating the issue and making it worse, and that mindset and tools used to perpetuate it are also creating the problem, or not making it any better, making it worse. So we changed to a Herm Sprenger collar. I started handling the dog. Within minutes, the dog instantly really wasn't reacting when I was handling it. Of course, dogs are going to be not comfortable, even though it's like, well, your dog's not like going from 0 to 10. It's just calm, relaxed, holding command, checking with the handler. It's just nervous because it's like, are you sure this is cool? Because if it is, I'll trust you, but I got to see this with my own eyes. And that's the consciousness that I want to, develop within a dog that is just getting so overstimulated, and then they feel no one's in control. And with the leash, it feels your attempts at control are like, why are you doing this? Why are you holding me back from my own fight or flight mechanism? That's why a lot of dogs that have reactivity on a leash only do it with the leash or when their owner's handling it from improper relationship, improper equipment, improper communication. And then this dogs could be okay. A lot of times they are a little avoidant. They don't want things near them. They kind of create space, but it's more of the flight response versus fight, because when you put them on a leash, they have no other option. And that should not be a part of any of their interactions unless there's a bona fide threat. And that's the consciousness we have to get them to see, and then we can reward it. Then we can show them. But it also is a lifestyle change. You have to show your dog that you're intervening like this all the time. Otherwise, they're not going to buy it, or you're going to stress them out. That's why the first lesson, but I can show a dog almost fixing it, but now the owner has to implement it and show with their history of the type of relationship they're having that they can project that energy and be as consistent in their communication as a trainer could. That's why the dogs listen better to trainers and to certain people. But we got to address that right away. So it's frustrating because this person spent how much money? 2 years. I showed their dog where even when we got done with the session and the collar came off and we just put him back because they wanted to go back to the harness, I'm like, let's at least do your flat collar till maybe if you decide to order Herm Sprenger. The dog actually was relaxing without any intervention, and that's pretty good potential for a dog, and shows that what I did was kind of hitting the nail on the head, which I know it does because it's what I do. It's what people tell me, and I'm always seeing the mindset and the type of modalities of training that positive reinforcement, either their ideologies or they prey upon dog owners who just don't know and are thinking more of their heart than their heads. They tell them that's valid, and they're gaslight it and everything. Oh yeah, we'll get to the problem, it'll improve. Look, and they point out little things. I'm like, can we just get to the point? It's not punishing the dog. It's not submitting them. It's not being I'm calm and neutral in these sessions. I'm just giving the dog clear direction and using tools that disrupts the opposition reflex. high behind the ears, not low on the neck or chest. That's it. It's how they are. Sled dogs, carting dogs. That's why they wear that. Anything else you say otherwise means you have no experience handling dogs, or your fantasy is driving the actual reality that's in front of you. Neither I'm going to go with, because I care about how dogs see it and they're in the reality of things. So anyway, maybe this person will, but they paid me for the first lesson. I do a very intensive first workshop, so we cover a lot, got results. It was clear, but then we have to start working with the dogs and owners, have them come to class, work in the house in different environments. I mean, it's a few months of training where we can phase out of it, and even after 2 years of not getting results and probably spending a whole lot more money than I charge long term, it's kind of, I think about it thing. And I was just like, I'm sorry for what I told you, because it was, I think, when I'm too honest with people, because that's what the dog needs, people aren't ready for it. But I'm like, your dog needs it, so I can't. What do you want me to do? Tell you it's okay, make excuses like everyone else and you've been doing? You can't do that. It's not going to help. It's going to make your dog worse. I'm there to help your dog, and my ability to step out of my own ego, whatever it is, I can see the reality of what a dog needs and be neutral in my energy, actions, and communication. And again, I have to teach this to owners. So owners that are ready, but it saddens me. You try something for 2 years, and the dog, when I showed up, I couldn't go near it. And as soon as I started handling it for the better, even once we were done with the session, the dog was improved. And I only was able to give them, an hour and a half, 2 hours of my time to help them. Again, I feel a little handcuffed, but that's just the nature of how my job goes. But again, it's the positive reinforcement trainers that are to blame. They don't know what they're doing. They get some self-righteous principles. I did a video the other day about how they're not even with what they're good at, learning theory and timing their response to things with their positive reinforcement. They're shaping all the wrong intentions, attention spans, positioning, all that stuff. They're awful. They're a wreck. These are all people that are mentally chaotic, and they want to promote that on their dogs, because something that creates you to be centered and to be self-aware and look within. People just want to constantly distract themselves, and dogs are one of the greatest distractions. I get it. Anything that's real. I do this family member I love so much, but I try to point out, like, look, dude, you're doing similar stuff to what I, whatever efforts made, and then there's a defensive reaction. Instead of saying, like, hey, you're absolutely right. Like, it's not just about my circumstance. You are someone who is making an effort in this relationship far greater than I am, and that's showing you that I don't really care, because I'm not worth your effort, and you're as busy as me, in different ways, but still time allotment in a day and week, and I do have a lot of obligations, and I'm certainly sitting in my car in traffic very often. But yeah, for something like that, I get it. I'm coming more to peace with it. I've been doing more videos of that too. I get it's not a blame, and I hate when people get upset when I speak about it matter-of-factly. It's just, I don't do that. It's not quite, whatever it is. I've been around dogs too long. It makes me not able to fit into the little social things that people like to follow when it comes to fitting into society. I don't give a shit. I'm like Larry David. Honestly, I am. I point out all the weird things that people do within reason. I don't want to hurt people's feelings. I can give examples. I'll give 2 examples and I'll let it go. This is again, context. And it's not about picking and choosing. It's about what someone can help and control themselves, and what someone isn't able to help, and you have compassion, empathy for them. Dogs, we need to control them, and control doesn't mean physically domineering or threatening them or hurting them to motivate their learning process. I'll leave it at this. It's going to be a podcast. We're going to be at 116, 117. These long drive-in talks. I got a long drive. Maybe I'll keep going. Got some hamburger. I'm straight up keto paleo man with little fruit and vegetables on the side. I got Laura's lean beef in my teeth. So I've lived in an apartment. When I came back here full time to LA back this early summer, I wanted to just reestablish, and I didn't want to get too in with my bills, and I wanted to kind of live in an area that, quite honestly, a larger apartment, it would just be pretty expensive. So I took a small little place. They allowed my dogs. That was another factor, and I like it. But and the walls aren't thin per se, but you can hear it's an apartment, and I'm very sensitive. I have a hypervigilance thing to myself. I work on it. I meditate. I distract, whatever. But unlike a dog, it is something in humans that sometimes becomes a little harder, and I could probably improve it myself with all my own criticism of others needs to improve. I should meditate, be a little more like desensitized to things, or just wear earplugs. And I have earphones I'll wear sometimes when it's bad. So, and I don't think she knows how to find me. I feel so bad. I like her. She's like my neighbor, and we talk every day. So I have 2 neighbors, one above me and one there. The one above me, her bedroom is above me, and the one next to me, so my bedroom, so there's one directly above my bed, and then there's one behind my headboard, and that's the other folks' living room. Now, the folks in the living room, they're just like young dudes, and it's not every night, and I know I'm young, but if they realize, maybe, like, if I knew, like, I do it, like, in the middle of the night, if my dog, like, is scuffling too much, and it's like, oh, the wall's gonna vibrate or something, I don't want to upset people. I don't slam my door in the morning. I want to make sure, I don't want it done to me. So if anything, even if it's for my own selfish, like, well, if I put enough of that out there, I won't get it back, so be it. I'm still trying to be conscious of others. So they're loud sometimes. A lot of times it's been well into like 2, 3 in the morning, and it's not crazy like party. They're just young dudes. They seem like nice guys. I don't like, so I feel bad even telling them, to be honest, but it's like I get annoyed at them because they can control it. They're just, it's like, I gotta work in the morning, dude. You're the ones who are having leisure time in your apartment that I bust my ass to barely afford, whatever. Again, they seem like sweet. I like my neighbors. They're all nice people, and they're not like crazy, but again, me as a person who's like, that can be changed. They could do something about it. It's not just how they are. Now, the lady above me, she's a little older than me, and she snores, and I hear the snoring. Maybe other people, actually no, I've had someone over, and I was like, listen, come in here and listen, and they heard it too, so they can hear it. And I hear her footsteps, but like, I know she has to work early. It seems like she works a lot. She's talked to me about her job is kind of stressful and can be unfair with like her boss and stuff. So again, like, it's not just that I like one more than the other. It's just like, she probably has a harder life than these young dudes. They're obviously partying on Friday nights, while all of us are just trying to catch up on sleep or work the next day, even on a weekend. And she's probably she's a nice, again, it's not about nice or not, she's just not doing this on purpose. She's not saying, I'm going to snore so this guy has a hard time sleeping tonight. It's just what she does. Now, if I knew her better, I would probably tell her maybe an apnea mask, or tell her what I'm experiencing, but I don't want to make her feel bad. I almost think, I only known her a few months, but maybe if I get to know her better, I could bring it up, like, just politely, just to help. But again, this is my Larry David. I'm telling people, even with their dogs, where they're like, this guy, I paid a lot of money. Go look on my website. It's a lot of money you're paying me, and I very much hold up myself to that obligation to give you. That's why I talk fast, folks. If you're someone who works with me, God, this guy talks fast. I have ADHD. I'm a little autistic, so this is my one freaking special interest, they call it, that I just live for. So I'm so excited that I have someone who wants to hear about it. And I also, more than anything, feel like, okay, we got this much time, and I am busy, so I can't spend the entire day. I got to kind of schedule these sessions, but I want to give you as much as I can in that time, and I'll send you other supplemental things, and I can text you and call you, if you have questions when you're working, or something you didn't catch right, or here's other classes of other trainers in the area that I think you can go to their groups, and that would help you. I want to help people, and I want them to get the most for their money. That's why I give free classes and free time for life for clients who work with me long term. But again, sometimes people, they react and they don't absorb, and that sometimes creates a limit. I know I probably segued somewhere out in the weeds, but I'm doing my best. I'm in traffic too. And that's where sometimes I feel bad, because like when I see like something where it's like, gosh, it's not like because I'm better than, I put so, you don't understand. I'm an autistic kid who studied animals and dog behavior since I was a little boy. I mean, to the point where I would just like live. I didn't have friends. They were my existence. I'd take the dog and spend time. And my college, studies, where I have a degree in psychology, I understand learning theory, and I've taken brain and psycho, even the veterinarians who might not have even taken any courses on psychopharmaceuticals, and I actually have, and they think they know its application better than me, especially when it comes to real life dogs, or applied behavior analysis, which I actually studied the human version of it. I used to work with special needs adults in Colorado when I was getting my degree, when I was finishing my independent studies. So again, it's just the positive reinforcement people, it's all emotion, all feeling, and they could do it, but for them to hijack the money and time and gaslight owners to keep thinking it's going to work, or this is the best they're going to get, and then what they do is they just tell you to live with it or avoid things, or your dog's going to be put down. That's the thing they said, your dog just can't be around other dogs. We had a dog laying down calmly checking in while dogs were passing by in front of the home. So in a lesson, let alone we do this for 2-3 months, we're going to get long-term resolution, extinguish the behavior, and then we can actually just have the dog coexist without even giving them direction, or emphasizing implementing consistent leadership in the home. I'm telling this, the answer is in this 15 minutes I just talked about it. If you can piece together, the specifics are in my other videos and podcasts about place training, structured walking, the mindset, energy, introducing dogs to each other, it's all there. If you work with me, just follow the instructions. It's not for me to say I'm right. I don't care. I don't need to be right. I just want to help you. But I also don't need the pushback, and it is a little hurtful because I'm a sensitive man, boo-hoo, that when I'm telling you something that it's not to be right, it's with enthusiasm, passion, with an intention that's going to match your dog's enthusiasm, but more than that, it's what you need to hear and what you need to apply and what you need to change and do and take time and effort for to help your dog. And I will never, one client, ever, I'll say it first before I start handling the dog when I first show up the first lesson, but once I handle that dog, if you do not see a noticeable difference, and again, a difference can mean your dog is showing a non-reaction, but a little unsure because they're like, hey, I'm going to put my toe in the water of this trusting you thing and not getting overstimulated by everything I see, hence a calmer, conscious state. And again, enough times you go through the process, you know that it will work. You just have to have owners be willing to go through that process with you and make the changes and put the work in. And it's every little thing. It's not about preference. It's not we'll get around to it. It is do it now because that's how dogs are. A real pack leader, this is what it is, and let's move on. There's no let's get to know. That's the conditioning end of it. But the actual, we have to put this expectation structure on our dog who has a history of overreacting in our presence, where I provide for them and they can't see it that way. I have to have enough of that empathy and compassion to do something that isn't feeling so good or isn't what I would use to fit into society, because a lot of us just care more about that and being liked. I don't know why. I do know why, but again, I'm like Larry David and I just want to talk about the truth. It's a pretty good way to be for a dog trainer, just not great for interpersonal relationships, but I don't care. I bring peace to dogs. I am so satisfied with my life that I have in my career and the peace I have with my own happy dogs. Happy dogs, happy dog. We're going to be happy hiking in 45 minutes. I just want to help you find that peace also by, again, doing everything. Now it's 17 minutes, 30 seconds. The same things that has worked for countless people. And if you want to debate me, or you just feel you beg to differ, I have video evidence of mine and other people's dogs, tons of track record, testimonial, a show hosted. I don't think I get paid by Facebook Watch to do one of their first, what do they call it? Episodic series, whatever, reality shows. I wouldn't have gotten paid a whole lot of money by Nat Geo Wild to do a 3-camera pilot for what would have been potentially a show back when I was doing all that stuff. I don't think the list of all these celebrities would let me come in their home and keep coming back if I didn't have. These people don't want someone to dick around. They don't have time, and they still work for their money. They want someone who's honest. They want someone they can trust. These are all the reality-based proof. I'm not going to say something, how great I am, what my way works, your way is bad, if I see your way not working and my way does, based on evidence and the tangible track record, social proof that I can provide to. It's never hearsay with me. That's what people don't realize. They think it's, some people embellish. Maybe when I was a younger trainer, my ego drove me because I was insecure and I didn't have the understanding and experience and track record. Now I do, and I have enough people who see the merit in it, that if someone is going to not want to work with me the way it has to be done, or make me feel bad, or show a little bit of disrespect by tuning me out when I'm trying to just communicate to them. And again, I'm not going to ignore it. I'm hyper alert myself, like your dog. I see that you're looking around, you're not paying attention, you yeah me to death. Every time I tell you there's an excuse, a deflection, I know it all, and also I understand human psychology. I know what your dog's seeing, and that's what you need to start seeing in yourself, and then act in a way and communicate in a way that they need based on conditioning and instinct. And you'd be amazed that literally right away the switch flips and you start going down the better pathway, and they trust your leadership and intervention in their life.